Hello, everybody. Welcome to more Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. It's been a while since I recorded the last one of these. Alright, so Gumshoe was giving his testimony. The crime was reported at 2:25 p.m. by a kind of scary old man, sir. Poor Maggie had passed out from the shock. It must have been real tough for her. The victim didn't have any identification on him, but we figured out who he was pretty quick, and then the investigation went smoothly. When Maggie was searched, we found the lottery ticket and a bottle of poison. And that was it. There was nothing else missing from the crime scene.
You identified the victim and secured your bribe suspect. Very good.
Last chance to convince the court you're a real lawyer, Trite.
Ah,
Don't count on any more cross-examinations after this one, so let the fun begin.
The investigation.
The crime was reported at...
Scary old man, Detective Gumshoe.
There's an old man who's a regular at the restaurant where the incident happened.
Ah, we're obviously talking about the same old man.
Officers were dispatched right after the report came in, but the old guy still made a fuss. What took you so long? Then he hurled abuse at them, and seeds.
seeds.
Ha, it was nothing. I caught each one with my teeth.
I guess not even the mighty Godot can avoid being attacked by that guy.
The old man was the only other customer in the place at the time. He took his time finding a payphone, apparently, so he was late reporting to the crime. Poor Maggie had passed out from the shock. It must have been real tough for her.
How long was the defendant unconscious for?
The officers got to the crime scene around 2:40. Maggie was still out cold in the kitchen at that time. It took another 10 minutes or so before she came to. I would have liked to have been on the scene myself.
I bet you would have liked to have carried out the search, too.
I would have loved to see Maggie asleep like that, all pretty and peaceful.
You're a professional, Detective Gumshoe, not a professional bird watcher.
Save the romantics for your own time, Detective. All we need to know about is the investigation. Oops, I guess I'm pretty red right now, aren't I? The victim didn't have any identification on him.
He didn't have any? Are you saying that it was stolen then?
No, I don't think so. The victim didn't have a driver's license or even a credit card on him, pal. All he had was 58 cents in his wallet.
58 cents?
Yeah, I can't believe I found someone with less in their wallet than me, pal.
The victim sounds like he was a thoroughly miserable young man.
Or some kind of outlaw. Why not give him a bit of an edge?
I think I'm onto something here.
But we figured out who he was pretty quick, and then the investigation went smoothly.
Wait a sec.
Huh? Did I say something dumb again?
Let me paraphrase what you just testified to this court. The victim didn't have any form of ID on him. That's basically what you said, yes?
Yeah, basically.
In that case, how were you able to identify the victim so quickly?
Oh, that.
He's so let down. He's got the whole sagging shoulders and puppy eyes thing going.
There was a prescription bag on the victim's table along with the lottery ticket. There was a prescription bag on the victim's table along with the lottery ticket. It seems Mr. Glenn Elg visited his doctor before he went to Tribulations. We got the victim's name from the medical records of the doc who prescribed the meds.
That's a reliable enough source for the court.
What should I do? Should I leave this alone or ask to hear more? Ask about the prescription bag. So what sort of medicine was in the bag?
Well, actually, the bag we found was empty.
Huh?
Yeah, completely empty.
It was completely empty? Victim's prescription bag added to the court record.
You're entering an empty paper bag as evidence? Desperate, are you, trite? Now, what happened with the investigation after that, detective? When Maggie was searched, we found the lottery ticket and the bottle of poison.
But the defendant had been passed out for a while, correct? In that case, isn't it possible someone planted the evidence in Maggie's pocket?
Hey, yeah, you've nailed it, pal. It happens to me all the time. We had a department party the other day, and when I got home, I was wearing the boss's shoes. Keep up this crazy testimony, detective, and those shoes will end up down your throat. Sorry. So trite. Someone planted the evidence in Maggie's pocket? That's a pretty bold statement. Care to back it up with some evidence?
Well, I'd love to if I had any.
It appears you have no evidence to support your theory, Mr. Wright. Continue with your testimony, witness.
And that was it. There was nothing else missing from the crime scene.
So the $500,000 lottery ticket and the bottle of poison were accounted for.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's true that those two items are accounted for, but wasn't there another lottery ticket that was stolen that day?
Oh, yeah. The one the restaurant owner took. He won the whole dollar with it. What a lucky guy, huh?
And they're just going to let him get away with it?
It was just $1, detective.
I guess no one cares when it's that little, unless it's Gumshoe. If I don't find a hole in this testimony, the judge is going to hand down his verdict. Gumshoe isn't giving us anything to work with, and we can't find any contradictions if he doesn't give us something. Yeah, that's true. But Maggie and Gumshoe are like Dumb and Dumber. Our only hope is that they were so dumb they missed something obvious. Come on, Gumshoe, be the dumbest you've ever been. Okay.
Okay, so I'm surprised at how long it took me to figure this out. But it's actually the victim's prescription bag. The bag's empty.
Detective Gumshoe, I think I should point something out to you. There's just one small contradiction in your testimony.
Oh, finally. I'm getting all anxious just waiting, so hurry up, will you?
You testified that nothing else was missing from the crime scene. However, the prescription bag you mentioned was empty. Did the officers recover the medicine from the scene of the crime later?
No, they didn't.
The victim was given a prescription right before going to Tribulations. Where, then, did the medicine disappear to?
You are too cool, pal.
Indeed. Due consideration wasn't given to the victim's prescription in the previous trial. Witness, why do you always overlook such vital pieces of evidence?
I guess that's the most careless thing I've done so far.
The victim was killed by poison, and the victim's medicine mysteriously disappeared. The victim's own prescription could have been the lethal poison itself.
Order! Order! Well, Mr. Godot, what do you have to say to that?
Ha. That's all.
What?
Read for the court the name of the clinic on the prescription bag, if you will.
What's the clinic's name got to do with anything? New Ear Otolaryngological Clinic. Otolaryngological?
Just what kind of illness was the victim suffering from, Mr. Godot?
Is that something with the ear? Hardly an illness, Your Honor. More like a bitter war wound, you could say.
A war wound?
The day before the incident, Mr. Elg found himself in a fight. He took a blow to the side of the head and ruptured his eardrum.
He ruptured his eardrum?
Then what on earth was the prescription he was given?
It was a cream that was to be applied topically inside his ear canal, not to be ingested.
What?
It's mentioned in the autopsy report if you read the fine print. They found traces of the medication in the victim's left ear.
Yes, here it is, in very, very fine print.
It seems Mr. Elk correctly applied some of his medication when he was at Tribulations. Therefore, it would be absurd to believe that he would have eaten his medication.
It seems that this medication is irrelevant to the case after all.
No.
Nick, if you don't think of something quick, it'll be all over.
She's right. But I can't get away with any old weak objection. What should I do?
Push the medication issue, yeah.
Only moments ago, Mr. Godot made the following statement. Yeah, but where's the cream then? It seems Mr. L correctly applied some of his medication while he was at Tribulations. If that's the case, then why was the medication not found at the scene of the crime?
But the medication in question was for topical use inside the ear canal.
That doesn't change the fact that it could not be found at the crime scene. However insignificant it may seem, it's a lawyer's duty to pursue the truth.
You know as well as I do that the medication is irrelevant. It hardly seems likely that a prescription drug would contain potassium cyanide.
It hardly seems likely that the coffee the waitress served would contain it either. But it did. The possibility is undeniable.
That's enough. Mr. Godot, is the detective the only witness the prosecution wishes to call? Mr. Godot?
I've got my own witness I'd like to call, sir. It's the old man who was there in the restaurant on the day of the murder.
Victor Kudo, the pigeon hater?
Very well. The matter of the disappearing medication seems a little more than trivial at best. However, it wasn't explored at all in the previous trial, and that is something that bothers me.
Yay, good job, Nick.
The court will adjourn for a 10-minute recess, after which we will hear the prosecution's next witness.
Ha. I suppose this means I'll just have to finish you off in my last 6 cups.
Court is adjourned for recess.
January 7th, 11:03 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 1.
Phew. That was close.
Tell me about it. I nearly died in there.
That's my line, sir. No, it's my line. I think I really did die a little bit. Looks like we all nearly died in there. I can't believe Detective Gumshoe. How could he betray us like that? Huh? He said he'd help me, but he totally set me up.
I don't think he meant to do that, Maggie. He was backed into a corner. I mean, the guy's got to do his job, right?
It's okay. I know all about lies and betrayal. I've had them my whole life. But it really hurt this time. It felt like someone punched me hard in the stomach. I hate that guy. I don't ever want to see him again.
Poor Gumshoe.
So the next witness is going to be that old guy from the park, right?
Yeah, Mr. Kudo. Lover of waitress outfits and projectile seeds.
I bet he's gonna be really stubborn. I mean, he's pretty set in his ways, you know? Yeah, he's a big old grouch. Are you going to be able to handle him, Nick?
Yeah, I can take whatever he throws at me, even those never-ending bird seeds. January 7th, 11:15 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 4.
Court will now reconvene for the trial of Maggie Bird. Mr. Godot, your next witness, please.
The prosecution calls the lucky old-timer who caught the show over a cup of coffee. Will the witness please take the stand? Name and occupation, if you don't mind.
The name is Victor Kudo, born and bred in the land of the rising sun. Honor and duty are what make me. Mind you, I can be quite emotional at times, too.
We don't need to hear about that, Mr. Kudo. Just tell the court your occupation.
My occupation? Listen, young'un. How much do you think there is for kimono embroidery here?
Kimono embroidery?
That's what I do, or did back in Japan. I embroidered family crests on kimonos. My ancestors were embroidering kimonos before this country even existed. Wow, a real craftsman. They're a dying breed. Hey, maybe he could embroider my costume sometime. Anyway, like I said, there's not much demand for that kind of thing here. So I had to take a job working the cash register at a burger joint, pretending to smile.
That burger joint would have been better off putting him in the kitchen.
Now then, witness, were you in the restaurant at the time of the incident?
Oh yes, I was eating some seeds over a cup of Javicino.
Seeds?
What do you think these are,
I see.
So you saw everything that happened, Gramps?
Did I? Oh, yes, I did. I saw it all.
Then please tell the court. We're all ears.
Sure. I'll tell you every last detail.
He's really getting into this.
What I witnessed.
The young man was reading the sports paper. The serving girl brought him a Javicino. Then she put something in it. The man took one sip of it, looked like he was in terrible pain, and then collapsed. That's the serving girl, right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well.
Mr. Kudo, she is not a serving girl. Please refer to her as a waitress.
You're as bad as the rest of them. All these newfangled words. What's wrong with the old-fashioned ones,
Newfangled?
All this talk of radios and glasses, it's wireless and spectacles, I tell you.
Excuse me?
Listen to me, everyone. Don't forget the old values. Don't let the good old days slip away.
Well, I think it's time to begin the cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
What I witnessed. The young man was reading the sports paper.
So you saw the victim, then? You saw Mr. Glenn Elg?
I wanted to know if Guts and Braun retained his championship or not.
So he was looking at the sports paper the victim was reading, huh? And at the location in question, there are partitions between the tables on the same side of the restaurant, right?
So what if there are?
If you say that you could see the victim, that means you were sitting at a table on the other side of the restaurant, correct?
Kah! I go to that place to drink Javicino. I don't go to sit. I don't remember what table I was sitting at.
You mean you go there to eye the waitress?
The serving girl brought him a Javicino, but she put something in it.
Mr. Kudo, that is a very grave accusation. Are you sure about what you saw?
Victor Kudo never makes mistakes. I dot every T and cross every I.
I see.
My eyesight's fine. The doctor said I only need spectacles for reading and driving.
I bet his eyes are only really fine when he's scoping out a waitress.
And I saw what that serving girl put into the Javicino as well.
I bet I know what's coming up, and something tells me I'm not going to like it. I guess we'll press harder. Your Honor, we need more clarification on what was put into the victim's coffee. I'd like to ask that the witness add what he knows about this to his testimony.
I agree. Witness, will you enlighten us, please?
Sure. There's no question about it. She very conspicuously put some white powder in there.
White powder. Okay. I guess it doesn't necessarily say the color. It looks white, but... Did she really put that into the coffee?
You doubt me, boy? She took some out of a small brown bottle and sprinkled it in.
Couldn't she have been adding sugar?
Sugar in a small brown bottle like that?
Like that? Witness, could you please describe the bottle in more concrete terms?
A bottle like this, perhaps?
Oh, there it is. That's the one.
That's the bottle of potassium cyanide, I presume?
So what did the accused put into the coffee? I think it's clear, don't you?
The man took one sip of it, looked like he was in terrible pain, and then collapsed.
He took just one sip?
You youngins, you waste everything. Those Javicinos cost $8. In the good old days, we would have a drink. We would have drank every last drop, eaten a cup, and then died.
Congratulations, you have earned the title of battiest man to grace a courtroom.
So it was an immediate death? Well, with potassium cyanide, I suppose that is possible.
Oh yes, he slumped over without so much as a twitch. I felt the Javicino I just drank turn sour in my stomach.
Are you sure it couldn't be from the stuff that John Armstrong maybe puts into the Javacinos and maybe just tasted bad?
Oh yes, I know that feeling.
And the waitress, I presume she's...
That's the serving girl, right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well.
You said, I remember her well, in reference to the waitress. Did she have any particular features that you can identify her by?
Particular features? It's a disgrace, that's what it is.
Sorry?
You can see all the way up to her, you know. She's practically naked in that uniform.
So the particular feature you recognize about the waitress is her outfit? But anyone could wear just such a uniform. Even me.
Mr. Wright, please spare the court of any further mental anguish from that image.
Don't get all excited, Nick. You've got to keep yourself together.
I guess I got a bit carried away.
There are other things I recognize about her, too.
He seems pretty sure of himself. What should I do? Press harder. Sure, you saw a waitress take the coffee over to the victim. But what matters is whether that waitress was Maggie Bird or not.
Quite right. Mr. Kudo, these other features that you recognize about the defendant, I would ask you to add them to your testimony.
Sure, sure. There was a ribbon in her hair, and her apron straps were loose.
A ribbon in her hair.
Does Maggie have a ribbon in her hair? I guess she does. I don't know about if the straps were loose, though. You do seem to remember several details about her appearance. But what about the most crucial detail of all, her face?
Huh, as if I wouldn't remember that.
The witness noticed the straps on the accused's apron. He's unlikely to make a mistake about her face.
That's right. I can even tell you the color of the ribbon in her hair. It was red.
So you see, there's nothing wrong with the witness's eyesight.
There's no doubt he remembers the waitress pretty well. What should I do? I get the feeling there's something more to this somehow.
Oh, yeah, ask about the waitress's back, probably, because it could have something to do with her hair or something, or ask about the waitress's back.
The identifying features.
Oh, see, it's the, it's that girl that was, that had black hair.
The identifying features you described are all things you would see from the back.
So what?
Is it possible that you never saw the waitress from the front at all?
Huh. He's got you there, Gramps.
People normally talk about facial features when they're asked to describe someone. But this witness's testimony is nothing but straps and ribbons.
This is harassment. I tell you, I'm not obsessed with straps or ribbons. I'm just telling you what I saw.
Mr. Kudo, the court requests that you add details about any identifying features you observed from the front, that is, to your testimony.
Sure, sure.
This old man's testimony is getting longer and longer. And if I can't find a hole in it soon, it'll get even longer, I bet.
There wasn't anything that caught my interest about her when I saw her from the front.
You didn't find anything to be distinct, but you did clearly see the witness's face, yes?
No question about it. I didn't come this far to back down now. Victor Kudo never backs down.
That's not the answer I was looking for, but okay.
This has turned into a matter of pride for old CD now, I guess. I wonder if he really did see Maggie's face or not.
Like I said, we need some concrete proof of this. Proof that the old guy didn't see the waitress clearly from the front.
I mean, just from the photo, it's not even Maggie. Like, it's that other girl.
Do you think old CD really saw Maggie do it?
Well, he probably had his eye on the waitress the whole time. That's why he was there.
But he was there for the cute outfits, right? Not the waitresses. Not the waitress.
I guess. She makes a good point, though.
Hey, did I just say something clever?
I wonder if the waitress Mr. Kudo saw really was Maggie.
That's what we have to figure out, Nick.
Okay, so apron straps were loose. Oh, well, if the apron straps were loose, maybe that means that she was actually skinny. So I'm going to present Maggie's profile. I'm going to save. Okay, it's not that. That caught my interest when I saw her from the front. Oh, it's probably this. It would be the stain. Yeah.
Mr. Kudo, I would like you to please take a look at this.
That filthy thing would suit filth like you just perfectly. Actually, it reminds me of what my grandson looks like just after he's done eating.
Have you ever seen this before?
Of course I haven't. Do you think I'd forget something as dirty as that, Well, you half-witted clot. What? What is it? Ever since I said you half-witted clot, there's been an eerie silence in here.
Mr. Kudo, this apron is the apron worn by the defendant on the day of the poisoning. And as you just said yourself, you wouldn't forget something like this. Which means, if you had really seen this apron before... Yes, you know what I'm getting at. You couldn't have possibly seen the waitress from the front.
Oops.
Witness, You can't just oops your way out of this.
Ha. Well. Looks like we finally have a genuine trial on our hands. Listen, Trite, here are the facts. On the day of the incident, there was only one waitress in the restaurant.
That being the defendant, Miss Maggie Bird.
Exactly. And when that one waitress put the poison into the coffee cup, this old guy was watching.
I hope you understand the gravity of the situation, Mr. Kudo. The fate of the defendant may rest on what you say you remember seeing.
Just tell the court exactly what you saw, Gramps.
You can rely on me, Captain. My noggin's in perfect working order. I can't remember a single occasion when I forgot what a burger a customer wanted. You can't remember? Probably more like he messed up so many times he's blocking it out.
Very well. Let's test just how good your memory and attention to detail is, Mr. Kudo. Tell us what you remember about the victim.
About the victim.
He was another of those pesky young types wearing a broken pair of spectacles. He had a newspaper in his right hand, and the noisy brat kept rustling its pages. The young man was listening to the wireless. I remember that well. Then the serving girl in question brought over the Javicino. The little fidget picked up the cup with his free hand and took a sip.
The testimony we have just heard was to test how credible the witness's memory is. It seems to me that he remembers the victim in a great deal of detail.
Oh, yes, I hate those you-know-what types who are so vague about everything.
How are we going to handle this, Nick? We only need to do one thing. We just need to prove that the old man's memory is shot.
Just trip him up, you mean? Isn't that kind of cruel?
I suppose, but it's what I do best.
About the victim.
A broken pair of spectacles. Well, I guess he only had the one over his eye. That's kind of weird looking. It's like Google Glass or something. Spectacles?
Dark glasses to you. One of those lenses was green, but the other one was broken. Newfangled rubbish. That's why I remember him so well.
He did have some kind of lens over his left eye, but I wouldn't have called it a pair of glasses.
He seems to have been wearing some rather modern-looking shades. Perhaps I should take to wearing some and rival Mr. Godot's sharp appearance.
We'd better come up with something sharp and quick.
Guess I'll wait and see if I should challenge him about the spectacles.
He had a newspaper in his right hand, and the noisy brat kept rustling its pages.
Oh, but see, if it was in his right hand, then it would have been in his left hand, actually, if he was writing with his right hand. That's my guess as to what might be the contradiction. Alright. The newspaper was a sports paper, was it?
That young hooligan, I nearly asked him, can't you even read without fidgeting, How was I supposed to be able to read the back page with all that rustling going on?
The back page.
I needed to find out if Gutson Braun retained his championship title.
How would he be able to read from that distance? It was his paper, not yours. If you wanted to know so bad, why didn't you buy your own?
What are you looking at me like that for, How dare you? Ow, ow. Gutson Braun got beaten yesterday, by the way. Anyway, the young man was listening to the wireless. I remember that well.
The wireless?
The decadent young rascal. In my day, it was one or the other. Read the paper or listen to the wireless.
Oh boy.
And using an earpiece. It's selfish, it's what it is. I was straining my ears, but I couldn't catch any of it.
Was he that desperate to listen to the radio?
What are you looking at me like that for? How dare you feel sorry for me? Ow, ow. Then the serving girl in question brought over the Javicino.
You mean the waitress who you only saw from behind, right?
You're one of those, are you? You never let anything go, isn't that right?
Maybe.
What does it matter if I saw it from the front or behind? My eyes don't lie. Ow, ow.
I better not push it until I've got some hard evidence.
The little fidget picked up the cup with his free hand and took a sip.
His free hand?
Yes.
Which hand was that?
Weren't you listening before, cloth ears? I said he was rustling the newspaper with his right hand, didn't I? If his free hand wasn't his right hand, then which hand was it, you moron?
Perhaps the great Mr. Trite has 3 hands. Yeesh, I was only asking. No need to gang up on me and treat me like a freak. The whole point of this cross-examination is to establish just one thing. Jesus. That this old guy's memory has more holes than... that this old guy's memory has more holes than a slice of Swiss. I guess we just need to find a contradiction in his testimony somewhere, huh? Anything will do, even the smallest detail. We just need one mistake and he's ours.
He was another of those pesky young types wearing a broken pair of spectacles. Well, he wasn't... I mean, I guess, but it's not really... I could present on this and present Glenn's profile, but it's not... I guess it's not that. It's not really that big of a deal there. Like, can I now press on this statement, but I couldn't before? Dark glasses to you. I wouldn't say they're really dark. A newspaper in his right hand, the noisy brat kept... So he must have been fidgeting. Maybe because he was listening to an actual... He was listening to probably a broadcast and was probably nervous about the outcome.